Imagine a garden, a rich thriving oasis in the desert, tended with care, skill, and wisdom. For years, this garden has been self-sufficient, providing for its people and adapting to challenges. Neighbors look on, admiring the vibrant life within it. Then, a visitor arrives, recognizing that this garden has value, that it's flourishing on its own. He offers to work alongside the gardeners, providing resources and knowledge to create something even greater. This is Morocco's story, an independent, resilient nation that partners with others on equal terms to benefit both sides. Honorable judges, respected opponents, and audience members, greetings. Today, I am here as the Prime Minister, leading the government team with my brilliant teammates, the Deputy Prime Minister, the Member of Government, and the Government Whip. Together, we're here to support that President Macron's recent visit to Morocco truly marks a new chapter in our relationship, one based on fairness and mutual benefit. For years, the relationship leaned in France's favor, but Macron's recent action reflects a real shift. For example, Macron's public support for Morocco's autonomy plan for Western Sahara is not just a political move. It's a sign of respect towards Morocco's sovereignty and territorial integrity, which has been long defended by King Mohammed VI. His Majesty's steady leadership in protecting Moroccan interests has ensured that this partnership is on equal terms, benefiting both nations. The instance aligns French and Morocco on the crucial issue, demonstrating France's support to Morocco in the international arena.
POI.
Yes, taken.
What exactly do you think France is gaining by recognizing Morocco's claim over the Western Sahara?
By recognizing the Western Sahara, this allows France and Morocco to gain a relationship that is based on respect and mutual benefit. Thank you.
How adorable.
Okay, so in addition, new economic partnerships between our countries now aim to support both sides. A prime example is France's investment in Morocco's infrastructure, such as the high-speed train rail, that connects major Moroccan cities like Casablanca and Tangier. These initiatives aren't only beneficial for Moroccan citizens, but also represent an opportunity for French businesses to expand their reach across North Africa. Finally, by strengthening cultural and educational exchanges, both countries are fostering connections between their citizens. So, honorable judges, Macron's visit signals a new spirit of partnership between Morocco and France, a partnership based on respect, mutual gains, and meaningful ties among our people. Our team stands ready and steady to show that this is indeed the beginning of a balanced relationship, one that goes beyond just numbers. Thank you.
Distinguished jury members and esteemed audience, allow us to be unequivocal. A true partnership rests on the share of power and on fair reciprocity. Genuine cooperation honors the interests of both parties, yet what we see between France and Morocco is no such partnership. It is a display of dominance, cloaked in the language of diplomacy with one clear beneficiary. Valued attendees, welcome to the side where we tell it as it is without the rose-colored lens our opponents cling to. They might appeal to the notion of mutual gain, but let us be clear, France walks away with the prize. Macron's recent visit to Morocco on the 28th of October 2024 was no act of friendly diplomacy. It was a calculated move for control. It was a calculated move for control, a strategic push for dominance in North Africa, thinly veiled as cooperation. By recognizing Morocco's claim and sovereignty over the Western Sahara, France gains a crucial ally and secures its influence over the Mediterranean and the Sahel. To those on the opposing team who might call this fair, let's not kid ourselves. Fair for whom? Certainly not Morocco. Let's break down the economics. French corporations like EDF, Total Energies, and Vinci don't just have a presence, they dominate. Together, they hold over 60% of Morocco's green energy projects, valued in the billions. And while Morocco gets a handful of jobs and some infrastructure, up to 70% of the profits go straight back to France. So, who keeps the real money, power, and control over resources? Undoubtedly, France. Culturally speaking,
you said that 60% of the renewable energies are taken by Morocco. But don't you think that we're not talking here about especially renewable energies or economical benefits, but of a genuine relationship based on a win-win partnership?
It's about partnership, which means all the projects between France and Morocco. Culturally speaking, France's hold is nothing short of powerful. With over 40,000 Moroccan students learning in French universities, France doesn't just shape individuals. It makes sure that Morocco's elite stays loyal to its interests. So, to our opponents who might call this or who will paint this as a cultural exchange, let's not fool ourselves. This is France making sure that Morocco stays under its thumb. Dear jury members and esteemed audience, don't let yourselves be fooled by the opposing team's common illusions. France has engineered a setup where it gains power, profit, and loyalty, while Morocco is left with only a little fraction of benefits. The numbers, strategies, and reality all point to one truth. France is the undisputable winner, and no amount of sugarcoating changes the fact. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. Do you hear me? Well, before, I'd like to answer the leader of opposition for the Sahel thing. Morocco and France did like a contract because they had like the same goal. That's why. And please provide more arguments like numbers and stuff like that so that your arguments would be valid. Once upon a time, there was a country of culture. Its people were kind, compassionate, and unified. Its alleys were noisy and smelled of dried flowers and savory spices. The only inconvenience about this realm was its strategic location. Other countries envied it and tried to take possession of its lands. Ladies and gentlemen, France took hold of Morocco in the worst way possible. They came to us as friends to help us reach modernization, and they went out as colonizers who drained all of our resources. They discovered the phosphates in 1905 with their childish able bribes and became greedy, according to ScienceDirect.com. They wanted to teach people, but they feared revolution during the protectorate time, of course. That's the history taught in Moroccan programs. We were victims of the Treaty of Fez. A lot of people lost their lives fighting the colonizer. We were about to lose our enriched culture and our so unique traditions. I can't deny the rightness of such facts, and I would be a fool to say that what they once did wasn't a cruel, inhumane act. But let us be real. We're not in 1912 obliged to sign up something we don't agree with. We're not in 1956 waiting for someone to let us have our independence. We're not the frail Morocco that cannot survive a single hour without the generosity of their public of friends. We are Morocco, who declared proudly not to need the French aid during the 8 September 2023 earthquake in El House, while accepting the Spanish one for the source, the news if you watch them. Well, it is to opponents an act of disrespect towards the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the King's Councillors to think that the partnership they gained is not a win-win partnership. It is not only France who gains, and surely Morocco won't be the only winner. Why? Because simply President Macron is the one who started the action. He was the one, after years of conflict, to declare that the Sahara was Moroccan, by sending a letter to His Majesty, the Sovereign Mohammed VI, in July 30th, 2024. His Majesty responded by simply inviting him. Well, dear spectators, honorable members of the jury, our lovely and esteemed opponents, we'd like us to start a new page, a new book, where you understand how uncalculated it is of you to defend your current position, if you have the reference of the new book. Well, we're not the only ones starting a new book. France and Morocco are doing the same, quoting Emmanuel Macron verbatim. Thank you for lending me your so dear ears. I'd like to finish with a quote that is what represents the reasons of the colonizers, according to represents the relationship that was before with France and which changed, and which is a quote from the Dragon Republic, a book by Rebecca Kwong, in which says, "Do you think you're just naturally smarter than me? I don't think that. I know it." Well, I don't have time, so let's see it in another intervention. Thank you.
Dear audience, esteemed juries, and dear opponents, good morning. For years, we've heard promises of mutual benefit from France, and yet the reality has often been far from balanced. Macron's visit may seem like a fresh start and starting a new page, but history, as we say, history repeats itself, warns us to take a look closer. Let me tell you, or I think you already know this since it is no secret that the relations between Paris and Rabat have plunged to their lowest point in years. So allow me to ask you questions. Who wouldn't give us our archive back with more than 2 million documents? Who helped Mauritania gain their independence just to counter Morocco's territorial claims? Who talked about the sovereignty of the Western Sahara when they saw that the international landscape was shifting? France. Listen, I'm not really opposing the idea of Macron visiting us and start a new page and sign new agreements. How many French presidents we had in Morocco? How many agreements were signed? And none of them were respected. Most of them were not respected. Let me give you an example. Nicolas Sarkozy, who came in 2007, France and Morocco signed an agreement to explore cooperations in civilian nuclear energy. While this agreement was aimed at Morocco enhancing its cooperations and capabilities for the nuclear system, France decided to focus on renewable energy, forgetting about Morocco and dealing with their own stuff for their own good and forgetting about us. Again, in 2013, when François Hollande came to work closely together on renewable energy projects, delayed occurred this project. For instance, the NCS, if you know it, it's one of the largest solar projects in the world. France kept delaying this project due to its international financial challenges, leaving us looking forward to empty promises. Again, in 1995, France agreed to provide military support to Morocco and equipment during Mediterranean's presidency. But France, due to the Western Sahara conflict, they sided obviously with Algeria, and they forgot about us. Yes?
Can you provide the sources of the non-agreement on the non-respect of the agreements?
Moroccan National World News and the American Library. France agreed to provide military support to Morocco during Mediterranean's presidency, but as I said, due to Algeria and Morocco's conflict due to the Western Sahara, they sided with Algeria, which led to this agreement to be cancelled. Talking about the Western Sahara that is so important to you guys, after France turned to Morocco after its failed attempt to establish a good relationship with Algeria again, of course we always welcome them with open arms. The relationship, if Algeria accepted if Algeria accepted the French narrative, the relationship between France and Morocco wouldn't be the way as it is today. The visit may have never happened. This recognition from France that is so important to you guys should have come a long time ago, not just now, when we needed it. For instance, with the increase in support for the Polisario Front from other countries, with Spain's waiver instance, with the US recognizing Morocco's claims in 2020. In 2020, France likely realized that staying silent could undermine its influence on the region. By finally addressing the issue, Macron seems to be showing France's support for Morocco's territorial unity, to stay important and to control us and to control North Africa. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed judges and dear audience, and a warm welcome to my dear colleagues from Economic Branch. Today, as you all know, we are explaining why Macron's recent visit marks a turning point between France-Morocco relations. And for that I say, gone are the days with one-sided benefits. Now we are talking about a true win-win situation. As we all know, security, instability, terrorism, and organized crime are major threats to both France and Morocco. Actually, these problems don't respect any borders. In recent years, Morocco has helped French authorities prevent from terrorist attacks in Europe. And don't be surprised, that's right, Morocco has played a huge role in keeping European citizens safe. When these two countries share their intelligence and resources, they are able to stop threats before they materialize. And this isn't just Morocco doing France a favor, but also in turn France has supported Morocco's security efforts with intelligence and resources, making sure Morocco has the tools to keep its own borders. Moreover, joint training programs, real-time sharing intelligence and technology exchanges are a good way to make both countries more secure. It's like having a teammate who always got your back. France and Morocco are setting a foundation for a regional and... Go ahead.
Future French leaders may not uphold Macron's commitment. How stable is this new chapter?
We'll come to that later. So, Morocco and France are setting a foundation for long-term and regional stability, protecting people across both Europe and North Africa. And if security doesn't convince you, let's talk about migration. Morocco plays a crucial role as a buffer between Europe and Africa, and France has recognized this by supporting Morocco's control borders efforts. France has supplied Morocco with training, equipment, and financial aid to help secure key areas, especially Spanish enclaves of Ceuta and Melilla, which are often used as entry points to Europe. Their partnership helped them treat migration with a human and organized approach. But let's not forget tourism, which is an economic boost for both countries. France and Morocco are both top travel destinations, each with its own and unique appeal. By promoting each other's tourism sectors, they can attract more visitors, support the local businesses, and strengthen their economies. Imagine a tourist package where you go spend a few days exploring Paris architecture and art, and then hop over to Morocco to experience vibrant souks and historical sites of Marrakesh. This kind of cross-promotion could attract a whole new wave of international tourists, eager to experience both European and North African cultures in one single trip. And with this, each country gains, jobs are created, and cultural connections go deeper. And since we are science math students and we are seen as logical minds, let's ask ourselves one question. Why would France and Morocco would settle for anything less than a partnership that gives them both real benefits? Ladies and gentlemen, indeed, Macron's recent visit to Morocco signals the start of a new and prosperous chapter. Thank you.
First, for the member of government, the visa was a way of pressure for France. They cut it down in 2021 to pressure our citizens in France. Now, dear audience, honorable jury, respectable opponents, we are here today to debate both past and present, today's promises and yesterday's engagements. But do we truly understand what France promised in the past? Well, allow me to clarify and refresh your memory. Who remembers what happened in 1912? By the Pierre Vormand book, Le Maroc sous protectorat français, Morocco became a French colony under the guise of protectorate. France promised modernization, claiming they would help us to develop ourselves with infrastructure, ports, or even communication networks. Our ancestors believed this. Yes, they believed that France could elevate us. But here we are, 100 years later, with a GDP that is a fraction of that of other countries. So, where is modernization? Maybe still hiding somewhere in 1912. We don't know.
POI,
Accepted.
the GDP of Morocco increases 3.5% annually, and with the growth disagreements will bring that we've signed with France, don't you think that it will significantly increase more?
It's increasing without the help of France. It's increasing without the help of France. So France isn't really apporting something to Morocco. And let's also talk about education and healthcare. Well, France promised to help us improve both. But today, more than 331,000 of Moroccan children accepted. Yes, I have arguments. I will come back later, and I have another answer for you. And also, I would like to know what's your sources. Well, I was saying that more than 331,000 of Moroccan drop out of school each year. So we can say that France didn't really fulfill his promise. And cultural respects, oh yes, that was also another promise. But France assured us they would respect our traditions. But in practice, French policies often undermined our culture and traditions. So today, Morocco's cultural land space is more affected by France than any other country. And also, in the past, France exploited Morocco. So 80% of our cotton were exported to France, and also citrus, wine, and tobacco. So if you call it a partnership, I call it abuse. Well, and I have an example for this. I think you all can see this wallet. Well, it's really empty. It represents just Moroccan resources in 1912. Very empty. In fact, our resources were even emptier because of this French impact. So I would like to say that French promises of investments, of modernization and a partnership, it's lies. We had these promises in years of pace, in decades past. And investments are made by France to help France. So what are we winning? In the long term, France does. We are not winning anything. And if you want to talk about student exchange, yes, they may provide opportunities, but many students stay in France, which just contributes to brain drain. So in conclusion, the pattern is clear. The so-called partnership benefits France, not Morocco. So, dear opponents, please, I have a question for you. When France made promises in the past, we ended up at our lowest. So, why would today's promises be any different? Thank you.
Well, to get back onto what the leader of opposition mentioned, we don't need France's help. When did we, the government help, say that we need France's help? We are suggesting that by signing some agreements, we can enhance the amount of increasement of the GPG for our sources, International Monetary Fund, NTZM, and the official website of Morocco. Ladies and gentlemen, irony has reached its peak. Economists, with their so-called wisdom as investors, no longer seek to climb the mountains of opportunities elsewhere. Or perhaps they are skillfully lying to us to preserve their comforts, to keep the upcoming opportunities well hidden from you. But who are we to accuse these guardians of their own little fantastic world? No, we prefer to believe in their blind innocence. And do not worry, members of the opposition, we are here to extend a hand and pull you out of the valleys of doubt into which you are sinking. Ladies and gentlemen, Morocco stands on the threshold of a remarkable transformation, embarking on a bold journey towards a new era of opportunity and growth. Recently, our country has signed groundbreaking agreements across diverse sectors, including real estate, water economy, transportation, aviation, health, and the list goes on. Each of these initiatives is a testament to Morocco's unwavering commitment to development and innovation. Furthermore, these agreements mark a significant leap towards the self-independence of our country, empowering us to shape our own future and seize the vast potential that lies ahead. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let us get back to the agreements and let us dive deeper into them. Imagine a Morocco connected by high... Yes, taken.
How do you explain the fact that France gets the most of the profits from Morocco's green energy projects? I didn't mention this
yet in my topic. You're out of topic in my intervention. Imagine a Morocco connected by high-speed trains where travel becomes seamless and efficient. Well, this 300 million euros investment isn't just about trains. It's about thousands of job opportunities for our fellow citizens. Jobs in construction, operation and maintenance. Jobs that will uplift communities and strengthen families. And think about our commitment to renewable energies. By investing in solar, wind and hydrogen projects, we're not only addressing our energy needs, but also taking a bold step towards becoming leaders in sustainability, while also attracting new investments that can fuel our economy. This is about leaving a healthier planet for our children and grandchildren. And well, with the growth these agreements will bring, we have an opportunity to make a real difference in the fight against poverty. By creating thousands of job opportunities, we can envision a future where unemployment rates decrease by up to 10%. And well, ladies and gentlemen, I assure you a future where every one of you will get a job opportunity, and a bright future. So respected judges, esteemed audience, dear opponents, let us embrace the change. Today, we are not just witnessing change, we are part of it. So let's celebrate the vibrant future that lies ahead for Morocco and its people. The vibrant future that lies ahead for you, for me, for our opponents standing here today. A brighter future is within our grasp, and it begins with each of us. Thank you for your time.
Before starting, ChatGPT is maybe your source, but ours is World Bank and the UN, and yet you haven't answered any of the POI Lena just asked you. Esteemed audience, honorable members of the jury, and dear opponents, the proposition wants you to believe that Macron's visit to Morocco is a shining example of international cooperation, an equal partnership where both countries come out on top. Now, let's be real for a second. It is merely obvious that the president's visit to Morocco isn't about collective benefits. It's about France securing its own interests at Morocco's expense. France offers just enough trade agreements, security promises, and diplomatic gestures to create the illusion of a cooperation. While Morocco is left with little more than empty promises, shouldering the burden of economic dependency, military pressure, and the fallout from Europe's migration policies, all while France walks away with the real benefits. So before we buy into the proposition's vision of a win-win case, let's ask ourselves, who's really winning here? Who's reaping the rewards and who's left behind in this so-called partnership? First, let's talk about France's treatment of African countries. It reveals a stark double standard compared to its relationships with Europe. While it promotes equality and common respect with European countries, it continues to take advantage from African countries through different mechanisms, like the CFA franc, for example, where 14 African countries are forced to hold half their foreign reserves into French accounts, effectively giving France control over their economies. This neo-colonial manipulation is further evident in the $50 billion in debt many African countries owe to France, such as Mali, Togo, Senegal, Cameroon, and even Nigeria, while France and other European countries enjoy debt-free cooperation. Simply put, ladies and gentlemen, France treats Africa like a colonial resource, while its dealings with Europe reflects genuine cooperation. And regrettably, Morocco remains one of France's victims, used for its resources and its strategic position. And then comes the Moroccan Sahara affair.
Can you
Taken?
please say the source where there is like France is still using Morocco's
Yes, I mentioned it before starting. It was World Bank and the UN, the United Nations. And then comes the Moroccan Sahara affair. France's recognition of the Moroccan Sahara is little more than a diplomatic concession that has changed nothing for Morocco. While President Macron's statements may have briefly softened France's stance, they lack real impact. But in contrast, we have the United States of America under President Trump, who has officially recognized Moroccan sovereignty over the Moroccan Sahara in December 2020, making a decisive shift in the U.S. foreign policy. And then we have Germany's Bundestag, which is the German federal parliament, who also passed a resolution in 2021 reaffirming Morocco's territorial integrity. These actions show how leading global powers have taken concrete steps to support Morocco, while France, with its symbolic words, failed to alter the situation on the ground. Thank you.
So before starting, dear opposition whip, we've said many times that our sources are DSM, CIA, and ENF. And for the member of opposition, can you please read your history lessons to know the reason why Morocco was weak and became a colony before the French protectorate? Thank you. Building on the government whip's idea about the real impact of this agreement on Morocco's future, just one of these projects, a $300 million high-speed rail, will create over 50,000 jobs, much like similar projects in Spain and China, where they boosted regional GDP by 5 to 10%. Source, ENF. Our renewable energy investments will bring another 40,000 jobs by 2030, supporting sustainable growth that benefits our communities. And here's the exciting part. These are only 2 out of 22 agreements we've signed with France. Imagine the total impact when all those projects come to life. They will drive economic growth, open up even more opportunities. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings again. Our debate is coming to an end and our opponents are still parroting their idea of mutual gain. Well, it's a fact that France gets the profits, power, and loyalty while Morocco is left with crumbs. The truth remains one. The opposing arguments rely on optimism than on the hard facts. When we examine the reality of this relationship, it's clear that their case is built on shaky ground. Even they must recognize that France is the real winner, but too stubborn to confront the truth given by us, their rivals. So, the truth is one, and it's never gonna change. The balance of power is overwhelmingly favoring France. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my field again. As you know, the topic we're discussing is a hot one. So for sure, you saw a picture of His Majesty, the King Mohammed VI, gifting President Emmanuel Macron a golden dagger. It would be stupid of us to think of it as insignificant. This present symbolized high status and cultural pride. And we can notice that Macron understood the message, unless our ears have lost their ability to catch sounds. He said in his speech in the parliamentary, "We are the community of destiny." France recognized Morocco as a friend and long-lasting relationship. And as an answer to your POI for the member of government, Your POI is the topic of the debate, so please, we're discussing that. And as an answer to you, opposition whip, I don't think the UN, who has France as a country who has the veto, will say that France is used in Morocco. Thank you.
You said that this relationship may bring some economic growth to Morocco, but the lion's share of profit often goes to French corporations and shareholders, making it far from an equal partnership. Let's not overlook the European Union Court's decision to ban Moroccan products from the Western Sahara, which France, if it truly supported us, as you say, could have opposed within the EU, but it stayed silent, treating Morocco as weak and easily ignored. Now, with the gas pipeline from Nigeria to Morocco set the supply to EU, Morocco will hold a strategically valuable position, maintaining good relationships with the American United States, which is in the benefit of France. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, there are hundreds of arguments that can defend our late position. Why? Because it is the rightest and the most logical one. And since our voice can never be stopped, I'd like to add the cherry on the top of the cake. The 22nd contract that Morocco signed with France. It is the one that would help us improve our naval strategy. I think most of you here are Moroccan. So you already know that Morocco benefits from two coasts, the Atlantic Ocean and the Mediterranean Sea. And thanks to that contract with the worldwide company CMA and CGM, we will be able to improve our container station residing in Nador. And if you ask me, what would France gain from that as a sort of intelligence maybe, I will answer gladly that investment is the key of success. It's the key to develop their economy. And you should know that the most, you economic students. Dear auditors, I hope that you don't fall for the speeches who taste like honey, because after some time, you'll be shocked how bitter they are. Thank you.
First, for the Prime Minister, we must talk about history because this partnership is part of our history. So, now allow me to take you on a history or a story you might recognize, a story that echoes itself, The Merchants of Venice. In Shakespeare's play, Shylock lends money to Antonio. In one condition is that Antonio fails to repay him, he should give him a pound of his own flesh. At first, this arrangement seems reasonable, miserably reasonable. But as the story unfolds, it was clear that Shylock was the one winning and benefiting from it, not Antonio. And similarly with France and Morocco, we are not winning, France is. So, am I the only one, or is everyone else seeing the absurdity of this? They are calling it partnership. Well, it's just as weak and fragile as this rope. Look at it. Thin, weak, ready to snap, and just like this. This so-called partnership will collapse. So, dear opponents, please, if you are fine with the partnership that will lead us to lose, I'm not. Thank you.
Leader of opposition, we are not optimistic, but realistic. Only 2 out of the 22 agreements will create over 90,000 jobs. Now imagine families, once burdened by uncertainty, now thriving with the stability of good jobs and reliable incomes. Georgians, as we end this debate today, I invite you to look beyond hollow promises of the opposition, beyond their sugary words and empty assurances. Well, it looks like I'm running out of time, Georgians. So I leave you with one final dessert, a millefeuille layered with the sweet but hollow cream of the opposition, layered on a bed infused with the bitter fragrance of their pessimism. We are realistic, not optimistic. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, as we come to the close of this debate, allow me to ask the Moroccan people here. What do you think of this partnership between France and Morocco? Is it fair? Is it really fair? Despite the history of agreements, we continue to face significant challenges, while France, with its economic and political power, dominates this relationship. After all, it is crystal clear that Macron's visit to Morocco isn't about collective benefits. And as you say, dear opponents, if a partnership for you is built on an imbalance, then you're very wrong. And with that, I humbly raise my case, confident that the truth has been laid and said in front of your eyes today. Thank you.